foolish mortals, to the haunted mansion. Please look alive as our tour continues through the attic. But beware, a large cloaked figure might be wandering ahead. Oh, I didn't mean to frighten you prematurely. The real chills come later, some 46 years later, when the haunted mansion opened its doors to mortals for the first time in 1969. Word started to spread about some of our more terrifying residents. One ghost in particular seemed shrouded in mystery. Some of the first mortals to enter the mansion described a cloaked figure with an evil grinning face and a hat box hung from his hand. But it wouldn't be long before this Hatbox ghost would disappear from the attraction entirely, seemingly banished from our ghostly retreat with little evidence he had ever roamed the attic aside from whispers and rumors. One such story described a ghostly figure so frightening that some mortals experience adverse medical conditions when they encountered the Hatbox ghost. As the legend grew, people became more and more interested in discovering the legendary spirit on their next visit to the mansion. Of course, finding a ghost can be a difficult task. In order to apprehend an apparition, you'll need an experienced advisor. Perhaps Madame Leota can establish contact. She has a remarkable head for materializing the disembodied.
Surrounded by spirits, phantoms, and ghouls, it's important mortals keep their cool.
Guests often encounter some real moments of terror as they enter the boundless realm of the supernatural. Imagineer Claude Coates was a huge advocate for keeping the mansion as frightening as possible. If that name sounds familiar, you may recognize Brother Claude from one of our tombstones located outside the mansion. However, it was most likely Imagineer Mark Davis who welcomed the Hatbox ghost to the mansion. In fact, Grandpa Mark was responsible for most of the sight gags you'll encounter throughout our ghostly retreat. Some of the early images of the Hatbox ghost invite us to experience a far less sinister version of the figure than the one early guests may have encountered in the attic.
Many of our residents can be shrouded in mystery, so it can be quite difficult to uncover their history.
So little is known about the Hatbox ghost outside of what the name tells us. Many believe his story might be intertwined with the original bride of the mansion. Early sightings suggest that the figure's head disappeared and reappeared alongside the bride's heartbeats. In the Haunted Mansion comic book by Slave Labor Graphics, the Hatbox ghost is said to be the disembodied spirit of one Randall Pace. Randall had met his demise when William Gracie, the master of the Haunted Mansion, had him decapitated. When Randall's ghost was summoned to the mansion, he'd kill Gracie's bride in an act of revenge. After that, the Hatbox ghost left the Haunted Mansion. The modern version of the Hatbox ghost's origin place him alongside one of the mansion's most popular residents, Constance Hatchaway. While her portrait had appeared in the mansion since it first opened its doors, her ghost did not materialize until around 2016. When she took over the attic, we discovered that in life, each one of her 5 husbands had met their early demise when their heads were separated from their bodies. This has led many guests to hypothesize that the Hatbox ghost may have been one of Constance's husbands, or perhaps an accomplice to their murders.
All those that are patient and light on their feet, you'll find yourself welcome in our ghostly retreat.
For decades, the legend of the Hatbox ghost continued to spread. Fans of the Haunted Mansion cried out for the return of the notorious poltergeist. Then in 2015, a mysterious wall had appeared near the attic, and images of the Hatbox ghost started to appear on merchandise throughout the Disneyland park. On May 9th, 2015, after a 46-year absence, the Hatbox ghost returned to the Haunted Mansion in Anaheim, California. Since then, thousands of guests encounter the figure each and every day, as the Doombuggy ghosts coasts by. Mortals shriek as his head disappears and then emerges in the Hatbox he's carrying around. Now, let us know what you think. Are you excited to see the return of the Hatbox ghost? And would you like to see him materialize in other Disney parks at some point in the future? Tell us your thoughts in the comments section below. And please, take a moment to watch one of these other films highlighting the residents of the Haunted Mansion.